Yo, everybody, it's your boy Bahal back with another ghost story that'll chill your spine. And trust me, by the end of this one, you'll be hearing whispers in the dark. That ghost might see you. You scared? I got you. Let's get started. Shh.
To save money, Todd and his family of 4 move into a luxury villa in a remote small town. Since his wife passed away unexpectedly a few months ago, to avoid painful memories, he moved here with his 2 daughters and his son. As soon as they enter, Victoria and Aiden rush to explore, while Izzy instantly feels a dark chill. But John, tempted by the price, insists they stay. Upstairs, Victoria spots a white sheet covering something huge across the way. Curious, she pulls it away and finds a house underneath. Just as she's about to investigate further, eerie whispers echo nearby. Victoria steps inside the room and walks to the window to check the view. But suddenly the door behind her closes on its own, terrified. As Victoria reached for the door, the knob suddenly twisted on its own, freezing her in shock as it slowly creaked open. It turned out that it was Aiden comes upstairs to find her. Meanwhile, Izzy went to another room when she noticed white clothes covering something across from her. Curious, she lifted it and found a mirror. She crouched down, admiring her reflection, when suddenly a shadow floated by. She mistook it for Todd passing by, but when she went out and called, there was no reply. At that moment, John was chatting with the agent, who was subtly pushing him to sign the contract quickly, saying the house was perfect for their family. Hearing this, Todd happily bought the house, and they moved all their luggage in. Victoria told John she found the house very strange, but John dismissed as just old, and said a simple renovation would fix it. That night, to honor their deceased mother, Victoria asked Todd to hang her photo on the wall. Just as it was hung, the doorbell rang. John went to the door and found it was the delivery guy. But when John paid, the delivery guy said something creepy. He didn't expect anyone would buy this house. John was puzzled but thought he was just admiring his luck, then quickly shut the door. Victoria went to the kitchen to grab a bowl, but as she was about to leave, the lights suddenly went out. A shadow appeared by the window, but she didn't see it and quickly left, scared. Back in the living room, she told Todd the kitchen light was broken, and Todd promised to fix it the next day. After dinner, they went to bed. Late into the night, strange sounds woke Aiden. He saw the light flickering and, scared, crawled into the blanket. When he pulled it back, he saw a girl suddenly appear opposite, shocked. She called out to John, who groggily woke up. It was already 3 a.m. John went to Aiden's room to comfort him, and only then did Aiden fall asleep. But unknown to them, a pair of eyes watched their every move from the darkness. The next day, Victoria and Aiden were playing hide and seek when Aiden opened the door to the attic and went up. Upstairs, the space was neatly decorated and music started playing. Aiden felt a chill and found it eerie. He turned off the music, then opened a black box on the floor. Suddenly, Xiaoli appeared behind him. Inside the box was a cute doll and an old camera. They both started playing with them, and Aiden curiously looked through the camera to see what was inside. Seeing this, Aiden got scared and quickly left, saying he needed to get something for Todd. Victoria, almost as if in a trance, kept gently stroking her doll's hair. After a moment, she moved quietly toward the small house out back, clutching the doll tightly and squatting there, completely still. Todd called out to her, but she didn't respond at all. Only when Todd took the doll from her did she finally speak, saying she was just playing. Finding nothing unusual, Todd placed the doll down on the floor and turned his attention to the box's contents. Besides some old photos, the only other item inside was the gold watch he was holding. He tried calling the agent to learn more but couldn't get through, so he left a message. Suddenly, Todd heard a noise coming from the living room and rushed in to find it in total disarray, as if something had overturned everything. Aiden and Victoria were there, but Victoria insisted they had been playing upstairs the whole time. Izzy joined Todd to help clean up, and during the process, Todd wondered if the house might be haunted. But he quickly dismissed the thought, blaming the mess on a loose bookshelf. Izzy felt reassured by his explanation. Later that night, as Todd carefully examined the watch, a photo of him and his late wife slipped out and fell to the floor. As he bent down to pick it up, he suddenly felt the presence of his wife, who appeared right beside him unexpectedly. This time, Todd woke up right at 3 in the morning again. He didn't think much of it since it wasn't a nightmare. He just lay back down to sleep. Early the next day, the neighbor Lisa came over to greet him. She hinted that she was glad someone finally bought the house. John felt immediately suspicious and asked how long the place had been empty. Melissa wasn't sure if it had always been vacant. Todd thought she was just talking nonsense. Then Melissa quickly said she'd only seen some old mice and walked off. Not long after, a real estate agent showed up. Todd asked about the box in the attic, but the agent clearly avoided the topic. Still, the agent explained that the previous owners usually leave some things behind. Thinking that made sense, Todd went upstairs, grabbed what was in the box, and asked the agent about it. When the agent saw the photos, she told John the house was over 100 years old. The people in the pictures probably used them for some kind of spirit summoning rituals, which is why they were kept. Suddenly, Todd heard noises from the kitchen. Checking it out, he found the water boiling. Then, through the window, he saw Victoria passed out on the floor. He ran out to check on her, but when he asked Aiden what happened, Aiden just stared silently. John panicked and carried Xiaoli back inside. Aiden kept staring up at the attic, then got so scared he peed himself. When Xiaoli woke up, she said she'd seen their mother outside. Seeing she was fine, John finally told the agent she wasn't allowed to mess around anymore. But since Victoria refused to listen, Todd had no choice. He planned to take her to the hospital to figure out what was going on. Todd then told Izzy about everything before leaving the house. Izzy quickly messaged her boyfriend, who soon arrived. The two were having an intense moment when suddenly he saw a black shadow float by outside. He got scared immediately. Izzy comforted him, but he still wanted to check outside. At the door, he saw nothing, so Izzy shut it and they were about to continue when Izzy's father called, saying they were on their way back. She kicked the boyfriend out. When John returned, Izzy asked about Victoria's condition. John said she just had a small cut. John went up to the attic, planning to clear everything out. While cleaning, he suddenly heard a noise behind him. He checked and saw a box moving. Picking up a wooden plank, he lifted it to find a mouse caught in a trap. As he was about to go back to cleaning, a girl suddenly appeared. Curious, Todd asked how she got in. She mumbled something and told Todd her name was Elena, then told him to burn all those things. So Todd took these items downstairs and checked the girls' names online. They found out that Elena was a missing girl, presumed dead. Her parents had contacted the local authorities, but never got any leads. This house used to be Madame Addison's seance venue back in the mid-1800s, where she held countless sessions trying to contact the dead. At the end of December 1801, Madame Addison was found strangled in her home, along with 4 other dead bodies. No clues were ever found, but many believe the seance went wrong, causing all this. Flashback to 1891, the town was buzzing with rumors about spirit summoning. Relatives of missing people came to Madame Addison for help, including Elena's parents. Madame Addison's assistant was there, holding a deck of cards. When Irwin and Mabel arrived, she turned on a recorder. The pictures Todd saw were from Madame Addison's seances, and the recorder captured the sounds from the rituals. Then Madame Addison appeared. When she shook Irwin's hand, she immediately sensed his skepticism, which she warned could cause the seance to fail. She asked Mabel to bring Elena's favorite belongings, a doll, and Irwin handed over her gold watch. These items were put into the box Todd now held. Irwin curiously asked why they had to come at 3 a.m., and Madame Addison explained it was the best time to contact spirits. Then she had everyone place their fingertips on the items and began chanting, calling Elena. The nearby piano responded, so Madame Addison brought it to the table, which also responded. But Irwin, seeing this, got suspicious and stood up, believing Madame Addison had rigged the piano and table. Madame Addison warned him to sit down, but it was too late. Mabel started questioning things when Madame Addison suddenly grabbed her by the neck. Mabel quickly fought back and strangled Madame Addison to death. When Irwin tried to run, the door wouldn't open. He turned to see Mabel being held by Madame Addison, who then killed her. One by one, the others were slaughtered by evil spirits attached to Madame Addison. This seance house became a murder house. Even though it was very cheap, no locals dared to buy it until John's family did. That's why the agent urged John to sign the contract, and why Melissa and the delivery guy acted strange. Back to the present, John learns the truth and takes the box and its contents from Aiden and Victoria. As he picks up the watch, he seems to see something and freezes. Night falls, and Aiden is sleeping, when John suddenly bursts in. Smiling eerily after seeing Aiden asleep, John covers him with a blanket, then grabs a baseball bat and approaches his bed again. At exactly 3 a.m., when Todd experienced strange events, the next day he woke up feeling mentally off. It turned out he just had a nightmare the night before. Afterwards, he went upstairs to the attic to sort through some stuff. That's when Victoria showed up beside him. She felt these things had character and didn't want Todd to throw them away, especially emphasizing a certain doll. But Todd snapped at her to leave. Frightened, Victoria left. Then Todd heard a noise and found a tape recorder playing eerie sounds. He immediately packed everything up and threw it outside. Next, Todd called his mother and told her everything. She suggested burning some sage to cleanse the house. He hung up after hearing that. Later that night, Victoria noticed the doll had returned to her room, and the attic door suddenly opened, a shadow moving inside. The next day, when Todd was out, he called the agent about the house's history, but the agent abruptly hung up when the subject came up. Knowing the house was haunted, Todd bought some sage from a store. But when he got home, no matter how much he called, there was no response from the kids. Then he saw something crawling under Victoria's blanket. Curious, he was about to check, but as he got close, it vanished instantly. Lifting the blanket, he found nothing. So scared, he left her room immediately. Later, downstairs, John saw Melissa playing with the things he'd thrown out. Furious, Todd kicked her out and went upstairs with the sage. After lighting it, he was suddenly hit by an invisible force and knocked down. He saw the gold watch he had discarded before. He rushed outside to the box, opened it, but found it empty. Just then, Melissa came up again. Todd, gathering his strength, opened the door. Melissa apologized for what happened and warned him the house had issues. She said the house was once set with a rat trap by their father, who suffered a stroke afterward and hadn't recovered. So, she believed the house was definitely haunted. Todd respectfully closed the door. Melissa had no choice but to leave. As night fell, Izzy sneaked out with her boyfriend for a date after Todd fell asleep. At 3 a.m., Todd suddenly woke again and got up to check on Aiden and Victoria. But he heard strange noises from his own room. Returning, he found objects scattered all over his bed. After hearing the kids scream, he took his phone to look for them. But every door locked except the attic's, which opened. Driven by curiosity, Todd went up and found music playing. No matter how much he called, there was no response. While searching, Victoria suddenly pushed him down. Meanwhile, Izzy returned home after eating, got ready for bed, and then heard eerie whispers from the attic. Going to Todd's room, she saw it in a mess, heading out to find the boys again. The attic door opened on its own. Curious, Izzy went up and saw John, who with his last breath told her to burn that box before he died. After coming downstairs, she went straight to Todd's room, packed the box, and left holding it. Victoria and Aiden caught up behind her just in time. Izzy lit the firewood and burned the box. Victoria and Aiden woke up. Inside, Izzy called for help, but the call cut off as she gave the address. All the kitchen lights went out instantly, and they ran out fast. But Madam Addison caught them and killed them all.